Oh my god, I was just looking for how I wanted to put in my title. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's session. This is night 2, and we're talking redesigning your life, right? For the workplace and of course for the future of work. So I'm just gonna wait for you to join, and then we're going to do this. We're just gonna wait. Hello, Lalare, Mister. Welcome. So yesterday we spoke about tips and trends that organizations and employees should pay attention to for what to expect in the coming years in this decade, and how you can, push yourself or position yourself to be ahead of the game. And tonight we're talking about redesigning your life. So we're just gonna wait. We're just going to wait. So, hello, Rachel. I want to see how I'm not gonna be too close. Alright. Okay, so invite your friends who are in the workplace or workspaces so that they can be a part of this. It is beneficial for people, especially people who are career oriented. You want to pay attention to this. Okay, I'm just going to wait a little bit. Okay, so we start exactly 5 minutes past 7. So ask your friends to join. Ask your friends to join. Let's do this. We have 30 minutes and now 26 minutes to do this for the next how many days? 4 days or 3 days. This is the second day. So we're here till Saturday. We're doing this till Saturday, every day till Saturday. I'm sorry if you're hearing that noise. I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay, so tonight we are doing redesigning your life, and this is the second day of our session on hard work is not enough. So I'm talking about how if you're in the workspace, you're a career person and you're really hardworking. Okay, so first of all, we started this as the Boss Intelligence series, where we just share tips for professionals, who are in their workspaces and they're saying, my boss doesn't recognize what I do. I'm not recommended for good things, even though I'm doing so much work. And for those who are within the Boss Intelligence series, you've heard my story, so you know that I used to be in that place before I got to where I am today. And so what I'm helping us to see and to position ourselves for is the reality of what work is going to start to look like and has already begun to look like within our workspaces. So if you're in that place where you're saying, I like my job, I want to be a career person, I'm not an entrepreneur, but I don't know how to go about the fact that there's so many things calling for my attention and I really need to focus on my life and my career, then this series is definitely for you. And so yesterday I shared trends and tips, and I also shared rapid and productive moves that forward-thinking organizations can build or can work on to build success in an uncertain world. I also helped job seekers and those who are already within the work environment to ask the questions that they must or see the questions that they must begin to ask themselves if they're going to remain and of course be sustained and rightly remunerated going forward within the workspace. So tonight what we're doing is, because one of the things that is like one of the biggest trends, like I mentioned yesterday, will be the trend of innovation and social interaction. And innovation meaning there's going to be a constant redefining, re-putting together of products, rechecking, reviewing, returning. There's going to be a consistent role on products, on new processes, on business concepts, on profits, even producing new profits and growth for organizations. So all of this is going to be happening, and for you to remain in the space where all of this is happening and your mental health is not threatened, then you want to know what you need to do when it comes to redesigning your life. So life redesigning for the workspace actually begins with self-leadership. If we say that the workspace is going to become that, yes, uncertain space, but of course provides opportunity for innovation, then what we're saying is that if you're going to remain there, be relevant there, be recommended there, in fact be elevated there, then you want to ask yourself some of the questions that I'm going to be putting to you tonight. So I'm not going to help you answer the question. No, I will not help you answer the question. So get your notepad, and just get ready to put these questions down. If you have friends that you believe should be here, by all means please share this with them so that they can join and get acquainted with this series of questions that I'm going to be putting forward to you, so that their lives can become better and of course they can thrive better at the workplace. So I said that I'm going to reveal to you questions that I should ask. So life redesigning in the workplace begins with self-leadership. You cannot lead in any organization, and by leadership I'm not talking about titles, I'm not talking about positions, I'm not talking about how you need to lobby for the next level, the next level, executive, manager. I'm not talking about all of that. I'm talking about you yourself leading. If you cannot lead yourself, then you're not ready for the shift that is happening within the workspace. And one of the things about self-leadership is that it's going to require a lot of self-discipline. So I used to have a colleague, when I was working in paid employment, I used to have a colleague who comes to work, and maybe on days where she says that she's not feeling well, she puts her head on the desk and says to everybody, I'm not feeling well, do not disturb me. And it used to get me really angry. If you're not feeling well, in fact, one day the HR came and said, oh, why are you putting your head on the desk? And she said, oh, I'm not feeling well. And the HR said, if you're not feeling well, then you should go back home. You shouldn't be at the organization putting your head at the desk, and when customers walk in, they're wondering what is wrong with you. It doesn't put the best image of the organization forward. So, and that's cue for somebody. Something is wrong with you. You want to send in a note to let them know that something is wrong with you, instead of dragging yourself to work and acting all funny. Nobody's going to demean whatever it is that you're feeling. At the end of the day, you are responsible for what happens to you. So that is just by the way. So I said that if you're going to thrive in the workplace going forward, you want to pay attention to self-discipline. You cannot be like that my colleague who comes to work, decides to do whatever she wants to do, or decides to do whatever he wants to do because, well, at the end of the month, they're going to pay me my money. And so if I have 10 things that I'm meant to do today, I'll faff around and do maybe like 6 of them and leave 4, which means that I'm coming the next day with a backlog. And every day there's a backlog for the next day. Every day there's a backlog for the next day. You cannot thrive and you cannot grow into a global and responsible staff or employee like that. So number one thing about redesigning your life for the future of work, and the future, when I say the future of work, I mean the work now. Because executive directors, CEOs, founders are thinking and rethinking how to do work better. And if there's a staff that is going to pull them back, reduce their productivity, they're going to rethink pulling that staff out. And you don't want to be in that space, especially if you like to be in paid employment. And so self-leadership is the first thing. If you're going to thrive in the workplace going forward, you want to pay attention to how you lead yourself. And I said again, it's going to require a lot of self-discipline. So I'm going to reel to you questions that you should begin to ask yourself about paid employment. Whether where you are right now is the best place, or where you are right now you're in a transition season, you're thinking of switching jobs, or where you are right now it feels as if, oh, nobody likes me, I'm doing so much but nobody's paying attention to me. Whatever phase that you are in, all of these questions are going to help you to make the right decision for the very next thing that you should be doing and the very next place you should be. Number one question is, what do you see about yourself? Remember, the redesigning your life begins with self-leadership. So let's take hold of who you are. What do you see about yourself? Now, yesterday when I was sharing some of the trends, I said that organizations, companies, founders, CEOs, leaders are going to begin to pay attention to how they embed meaning with everyday activities. So now organizations are expected to be more conscious of how the work that they do makes meaning to the person who is working for them and to the person who is connecting with them as per clients and supplier. And so if organizations are going to be doing that, as an employee, you want to begin to ask yourself the question, what do you see, or what do I see about myself? What is the vision for my life? Okay, yes, I want to be in paid employment. Why do I want to be in paid employment? What is the value that I am bringing to the table? You want to begin to ask yourself these questions. Yes, they will pay you at the end of the month. Yes, your job will be secure at the end of the month, but you would remain in one place for a very, very long time. You're going to remain in one place for a very, very long time. Let me tell you a story of one of the executives that I used to work with. She came from the UK, and every time she shares this story, I see the possibility in somebody rising from a very low place to a high place. It depends on what you want for yourself. And so she says that when she was in the UK and she was working as, I think it was as a sales assistant or a salesperson, and so she goes there's commission, and of course there's a certain amount that they pay them at the end of the month. And then one day she got into the office, to just do a few things, and she hears that there's an opening for, I think, a marketing manager or something like that. I can't remember right now, for someone who doesn't know their vision for themselves. You will see that offer and you walk past it. But if you had a vivid picture of where you are right now, where you want to be, say in the next 5 to 10 years, or where you want to be, or how you see your life holistically, you will see an opportunity and you will jump on it because you know that it is yours. A lot of us have passed, or opportunities have passed us, because we have not come to the place where we're consciously asking ourselves, what do I want from my life? What do I want the world to be impacted by, or what do I want my workspace to be impacted by? This is not about leadership titles. This is not about your position. So I'm not talking to you whether you are a customer service rep. I'm not talking to you whether you are the manager. I'm not talking to you whether you're a line manager, you're a supervisor. I'm talking to you as a person, as an individual. What do you see about your life holistically? Because that is going to help you to shape how you strategize where you are and where you want to be. Because there's going to have to be a connect with where you are right now to where you're going to be. So I was talking about this, my executive boss that I used to work with. And so she says that she saw the offer and she saw the opportunity, and they're like, they need a market manager. And she says, oh, I can apply. And they say, oh, do you have what it takes? And she says, yes, I do. And they're like, okay, if you apply, you're gonna get a lower pay. You're gonna get a lower pay from what you're getting right now, and you're not gonna have commission. And she says, yes, she doesn't mind. That is what she's going, that is exactly what she wants, because she knew what the vision of her life was. She took the test, she filled the form, took the test, applied like every other person was gonna apply, and she made it. Now somebody is wondering, oh, but I have tried to do that before. Well, I have also tried to do that before. I was in an organization as a contract staff, and then because I saw the way contract staff culture was going and I didn't like it, when it was time for them to do the graduate trainee entry test, I took it. So even if I didn't pass that test, I'm happy that at least I took it, because it made me sure that I knew my worth, I knew my value, I knew what I could bring to the table. Already at a contract staff, I was doing more than I ought to have been doing. And so I knew that the title was a cap on my abilities. And so I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to go for further. And so I tried. So when I didn't pass, or well, I don't know what happened, but I know I didn't get in. That's the point. Whether I passed or I didn't pass, I didn't get in. But I was happy that I took that step. I was happy that I gave myself the opportunity to show or tell that I knew what I was worth and I knew the value that I could bring to the table. I mean, as a contract staff customer service rep, there were things that brand and marketing were doing, and I would see loops and I would give in my 2 cents. So I didn't say because I am a customer service person and it's because I'm a contract staff, then I'm just going to keep my ideas to myself. No. And that's why I said, if you're going to be redesigning your life for the workspace going forward, and you're looking to increase your impact, increase your influence, and of course get elevated within that workspace, you want to begin to ask yourself, what's the vision of my life? What do I see about myself? The other thing that you want to ask yourself is, what are you looking for in your life? Or what do you have? What value is in your life that can be beneficial to that workspace? What value do you bring to the table? Or what value do you have as a person that can bring or that is beneficial to that workspace or to your career? You cannot be a selfish employee. If you're a selfish employee, you're actually limiting yourself. You are limiting the possibilities that are available for you, right? Number 3, you want to ask yourself the question, do I want to be a leader or do I want to be a limiter? Now, no matter how insignificant you think that you may be, maybe because of how you're treated in your workspace or the culture of the workspace itself or the nature of your own job description, no matter how insignificant you may be, nobody throws away a resourceful person. If nobody is saying that you're resourceful, there will be at least 1 or 2 people who know that you're resourceful. There will be at least 1 or 2 people who know that you are resourceful. So no matter how insignificant you think that you may be, your decision to either lead the organization forward or limit the organization by what you know or what you don't know has a huge impact on the productivity or on the productivity level of that organization. If you're in an organization and they see that every time you give an input on something, board meeting, a passing statement, you say something and it becomes something that works, even if you don't put yourself forward and say, I want to renegotiate my offer, there will be sponsors who are in rooms where you're not present and are going to be putting your name forward. I mean, when they're in board meetings and somebody is saying, oh, somebody from my team actually said this. They say it the first time, say it the second time, say it the third time. Then of course it means that your name is already in the ears of the decision makers. And even if you do not put yourself forward, and you should at certain points, even if you don't put yourself forward, there's a possibility that things can change and shift for you. Because fixing solutions, creative solutions, is one of the big deals and big things that organizations or CEOs and founders are going to be looking for. And so for organizations, this is also a call to action to say that you need to begin to invest innovative skills, innovative skill trainings for the kind of staff that you want to experience in your organization. Now, I'm advocating for employees don't just be in that place and say, oh, I'm doing the office a favor. You're not doing your workplace a favor. Both the workplace and you yourself are doing each other a favor. I mean, if you're doing well, your chances of getting promoted increases, or getting recommended increases, or getting recognized increases. If you're not doing well, then you want to pay attention to the kind of personal brand that you're oozing for the people that you're working with and working for. So no matter how insignificant you think that you may be, you need to begin to look and ask yourself, do I want to actually really lead in this organization, or do I want to limit this organization? Whatever answer that you give, remember that whatever thing that you say or who you choose to become in this will tell on the output of the organization. And if the output of the organization is not favorable to the organization, they make a decision to pull you out, right? So the next thing is, either as the leader, either as the limiter, you actually set the pace of the organization. Now, let me give you an example. I used to be in an organization where you lead in specific areas, right? You lead in specific areas. And so one day, one of my bosses came and said, Adesewa, I need you to do something. I need you to do something different from what you have been doing. And that day, I've just always had this vision that wherever I am, whether it is what I am comfortable with or what I am not comfortable with, I made a decision to choose to be efficient. I made a decision to choose to be efficient. So in being either the leader or the limiter, you want to ask yourself, because I said whether you're the leader or limiter, it doesn't have anything to do with, oh, I'm the CEO, or I'm the customer service person, oh, I'm a contract staff, oh, I'm a full-time staff, oh, I'm this. Yes, and I understand the Nigerian terrain about contract staffs and all of that. I totally understand that. But you can grow your brand, that's your personal brand, if you pay attention to what your organization needs and you prefer solution to it. And so being efficient has nothing to do with your title or your position. You can't say, until I become a HR manager, then I will show my true color. You're sabotaging yourself. You can't say, until I become the customer service manager or a supervisor or an executive, until I go from graduate trainee to being an executive, until I go from being an executive to being a senior manager or an assistant manager, then I will show my true color. You are sabotaging yourself and you are breaking yourself away from possible opportunities that can come to you. Efficiency is not about titles. Efficiency is not about positions. Efficiency is not about what you are giving. Efficiency is who you are. If you're efficient, you're efficient. If you're not efficient, you're not efficient. It doesn't matter where you're placed. I hope somebody gets that. And being efficient is one of the power skills that you must have in the workplace for you to thrive. So forget, oh, my bosses don't like me. Forget, oh, I don't like the work culture. If you're efficient, you become indispensable. You become the go-to person. Everybody's asking you questions. Everybody wants to hear your opinion. Do you know what that means? So you cannot wait to be efficient when you are promoted. Start from where you are. Begin to help yourself. Lead yourself and tell yourself, I'm going to be disciplined enough to do my work as I should do my work. The other part of being efficient, like I said, that I got into certain positions that I wasn't, not say comfortable, that I didn't have enough skills for. You know what I did? I began to skill up. I began to learn how to do the work in that position. Because sometimes you'll be You'll be put in positions and places where you're not even sure how to go about it. Those are the times you want to ask yourself, this place that I have been put, whatever I do here is going to tell on the output of the organization. Do I want to lead, or do I want to limit the organization in this place, no matter how insignificant you think that position is? So what are you willing to put in place in form of strategies so that you ensure that you are growing and that your organization is also growing? Are you determined to stay ahead? Are you determined because, of course, as a leader, you want to be on top of your game? You don't want conversations to be going on in the room and you're wondering what they're talking about. No. You cannot do that. Are you determined to stay ahead? To stay ahead means that you're going to have to research, you're going to be reading, you're going to be reschooling and reschooling and reschooling. What you knew today may not be relevant for tomorrow, so you want to know what's happening tomorrow. Now, here's the thing. Your biggest obstacle and your biggest opportunity, your biggest obstacle and your biggest opportunity will be in how you lead yourself. If you don't lead yourself well, you'll find problems. If you lead yourself well, those obstacles you'll see as opportunities. So they come in with a problem and you don't see it as a big deal. Not because it's not a big deal, but because you're willing to do the work. You're willing to do the work to find a solution for it. And so you're going to have to rise to the challenge. And trust me, the more you focus on personal growth, the more your company is going to grow. And the more your career opportunities will grow. So this is not about staying within the confines of a particular work environment. This is you engaging and ensuring that, and if you heard that sound, that's not anybody hitting their head anywhere. I just needed to quickly say that. My son is playing and he's hitting everything. He's pulling or he's dragging his chair. And so he's hitting the doors because he's playing, and also just to put your mind at rest. So the more you focus on personal growth, the more your career opportunity grows, which means that as you grow in skill, as you grow in knowledge, as you grow in impact and relevance, you are actually spreading. And by spreading, I mean that when you begin to step out of where you currently are to search for job opportunities, your chances of getting jobs, even in the most unlikely places, will definitely increase. And so finally, by design, you're a leader. By design, you are a leader. Remember the first question I said that you need to ask yourself? By design, you're a leader. But you get to determine if you'll be just that or if you'll be a limiter. And no one, always remember, no one wants anybody limiting them. No one wants anyone around them who's going to limit them, who's going to talk down on whatever possibilities that they can have to get to where they intend to get to. Nothing can and nothing would limit you but you. You are the only one who's going to tell yourself, I can grow. You're the one who will tell yourself, I cannot do it. And if you say I cannot do it, Henry Ford says, you are right. Whether you can or whether you cannot, you are definitely right. And so you want to choose what will work for you, and position you for greater opportunities and, of course, growth in the organizations where you work. Okay, it's always 30 minutes for the next couple of days. 30 minutes I come on here and I just share with you things that you should know about the future of work, whether as an employee or as an employer. Meanwhile, if you're not yet following our business page, our company page, I'm going to just put the handle here so that you get to follow us. We're putting things together, we're putting stuff together, to help you and to walk with you on this journey of ensuring that you grow as a person. Of course, your personal brand becomes more profitable and more prominent, and then as an organization that your people become loyal to you and will do anything to ensure the customer is satisfied and your productivity is increased. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm not sure if anyone has a question. If you do not have any question, if you have a question, please feel free to ask. I'm 1 minute out of time. If you have a question, please feel free to ask. If you do not have a question, then I'm just gonna say bye-bye. Ensure please that you share this with your friends who are within the workspace, so that they can see the opportunities that are present in their workspace, regardless of the hardship that they feel that the culture of the workspace is bringing to them right now. This is not a question of, oh, I'm working from home, or I'm not working from home. This is not what this is about. This is about increasing your influence, your impact, and the productivity of your organization. Okay, Lucy, if you have a question, please ask. As an employee from wherever in the world you are. Yesterday I shared that I have a very close relative who got a job in an international organization. I mean, he works from inside his house, and he got the job, and he's doing fantastic well. So efficiency, again, like I said before, efficiency is not in titles and is not in positions. Efficiency is who you choose to be, and being efficient is what is going to be a game changer for you within your workspace. Okay, so Lucy, I think that you have a question. Please feel free to ask. I need to step out in a minute. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I hope that this has helped you, or I hope that this okay, so I don't think that Lucy has a question. Thank you. We're just waving. Okay, so I'm waving to you. All right, if you're just joining, the class or the session is done, so please feel free to watch the replay. It's going to spark some interest in you and how you can grow as an employee within the workspace. Also, if you know any employer that needs this, please feel free to share with them. God bless you. Have an amazing night. Bye.